welcome to Game Woven, a collaborative world-building actual play where we build the world one game at a time, part of the One Shot Network. This is the beginning of our Cosmic Century Nights series as part of Campaign 2. Cosmic Century Nights involves a significant amount of upfront world building, adversary building, and character building. If you've already listened to the character building, now it's time for the world building and adversary building. We hope you enjoy. I think we're ready to go on to another prompt. Emily, it is your turn. Would you kindly throw a 1d20?
I mean, suspense. I wasn't sure which die it was going to be.
I rolled a 4.
A 4. Apart from the cosmic blade, what experience does this world have with life beyond the stars?
Gods. The gods.
Definitely.
Hey, that's
A lot
like
of
our
the
whole deal,
gods.
dude.
But
Yeah.
they don't necessarily know that.
Yeah.
So-
The best we have of knowing that is what we established in my game of God Potluck was basically my game of Potluck was like the first half of the Bible like creation story, and because of technical difficulties, we didn't get to finish it. So we're just saying the second half of the Bible's missing, and we don't know.
Yep.
So like from that game, we know they came from somewhere. Historians probably argue about it.
We also attached that to the city of the gods, this idea of the city of the gods, and we've sort of hinted that the city of the gods might be located on the planet that the moon is orbiting.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of the citizens of the Weave, that's what I keep calling it the Weave because we don't have a name of the planet or anything, or the moon or anything. I'm gonna call it the Weave the day I die.
I like it.
To them, it's we don't know what the city of the gods are. To them, they might be like maybe some people are like it's like Atlantis, it's a lost city, or some people are like actually that's where we're from, and because we're descended from the gods, and it's a whole racism thing. Like some people have for sure done weird elitism shit. Like no, that's my hometown actually.
Yeah.
What?
I think what's interesting to me is the predominant school of thought is that people came from the gods, like either like created by them when they arrived or like brought with from the city of the gods in some way. But I like the idea that there are very small pockets of civilization across the Weave that are like no. We trace our roots pre-gods. But like that is like the exception, not rather than
that was what my intention was gonna be with the God Potluck episode. My intention at the end of it was gonna be because the whole thing, the character I was playing was the Gods of Travel, who's like, I've never had a home, and the ending was gonna be, I found these weird people, these weird little guys around here. I like them. I'm living here now. Like that was my intended end goal.
Yeah, because only some of the gods came from off-world, came from elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah, some were descended from what was already here or ascended their way into
to
godhood
quite a
or a
few
little
ascended
bit of both.
gods.
Right.
Yeah.
So bare minimum,
Yeah.
my plan for the handful from God Potluck were to be, we came from somewhere, found people, and went, neat. We like these guys.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question over to Zad. In your character creation session, we established that your character is starborn. Your character is not
Yes.
of this world.
Mhm.
Tell me about the relationship between the Bowerborn and the heavens themselves. Tell me about how maybe that works, what that looks like. I know.
I'm gonna be honest. I picked. I knew that I wanted to do a Bowerborn god, and I picked Starborn because it was the most like of the options that I had. It was the most plausible stretch that I could make, and I was like, yeah, I can massage that. So what I've done is I backed myself into a corner where I just have to accept the fact that it's fundamentally true that there is something otherworldly about the Bowerborn gods. So it's like I don't know, and I am rebelling against the sense or the notion that salvation ought to come from off-world. Because like let's be honest, uh, I I I don't like God very much. Uh, for as Catholic as I am, people who have talked to me in real life, as deep as I am invested in that history, if not necessarily that dogma, and in as much as I consider that community to be family, the notion of Judeo-Christian God is like when I hear, like Nietzsche's quote, "God is dead and we've killed him." My response is, "Yeah, they had it coming." Now let's take that the next step further and figure out how we are going to become God ourselves, because that role still needs to be filled. And expecting somebody to come down from on high to rescue us is stupid, and it's never going to happen. And the longer we sit around and wait for somebody to come rescue us, the longer we stay in danger and in bondage.
It's not that you were chosen by the gods, but chosen by the stars themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
The
Yeah, please,
divinity does not come from without. It does not come from some other place. It comes from within. It is pulling on the magic from the world, the magic that has always been there, like pulling from within, pulling from like our own potential and like leaning into that. So yes, Starborn, but that's because you were pulling it from the planet or the moon. Like it is
Yeah, and
from what
let's
is
like
beneath your feet, and it's kind of like playing off of the. I've seen quotes about like we're made of the same stuff as stars. Kind of like playing off of that, but like the divinity comes from within. It is not something that's outside. It's something from within that people are able to like embrace themselves.
Yeah, and
And also, who's
that's how magic works in our setting in a lot of ways. We've talked about drawing on it as opposed to like making it or conjuring it. It's not something else. It's something like it is a mastery of and a channeling of fundamental forces, and like it's like Eagle's starborn in the same way that autistic people everywhere are starborn. We've made this metaphor at least twice with the Virakwi being preternaturally gifted in whatever their special interest is, and then again with the Powerborn gods having no special skills aside from the one thing that they can do everything at exceptionally well. Those are both
At no
expressions of
point did I
hyperfixation.
connect that to autism in any way.
It's an assuming.
Didn't
It's just
even cross my mind.
yeah, but it's like we've done that trick a
Giving the
couple of
autism is
times.
in the room with us.
Yeah, and so like I don't know. Hey, like question for the room: have you ever felt like an alien? Have you ever sat down in a room that's full of ostensibly normal people and been like, I am from elsewhere.
I
This
mean,
is
that's what
not
the
Well,
that's what like
my
the legend of changelings comes from.
Stop bullying me
Is
right
at least
now.
presumed to come from is that it's like, yeah, these are people who, they look like human beings and they move like human beings and whatever, and they look exactly like they're supposed to. But it's just they've got a touch of the Fae about them. There's something a little weird in the way that
Why won't
they're
he
still
shut up about
literal.
trains, dude?
They can't
This
pretend.
is
You
some
haven't
They
paid
can't.
attention yet. It's crazy.
Mhm.
I like the idea. I think to like summarize Starborn as far as the Bowerling gods, like you are of something more. How do I say this? Like like the something more like fundamentally true. Like the stars and the world you are more connected to like that fundamental truth of the world than
There's
like
also like you can also you can also remove a layer. It's not a truth of the world, you are of a fundamental truth, or you are of a fundamental. Like it's so we talk about drawing on magic. The Bowerborn don't need to draw on the type of magic. They are that type of magic.
Mhm.
Like there is an embodiment. There is a layer between someone drawing on magic and it changing them and then them doing magic versus someone who has a piece of divinity within them, someone who is partial, like somewhat like in a way divine. like that you don't have to draw on shit. It is as fundamental to you as like your five senses or however many senses you do have.
Yeah, and to like so to say that like we are all made of star stuff, and given form, to smash the notion of divinity and to locate it within within the personal and within the relational, is like to some ways it's to demystify things, but in other ways the goal that I have is to be like we are all we have, but we are more than enough. So that's where I'm pushing with that, and that's to me that is the nature of divinity.
Also, for the record,
that's-
most modern models say we have 9 to 21 senses.
We do have a lot more senses than just the 5. I agree. Our sixth sense is actually our sense of balance.
Mine's
You
bad.
can find it in your inner ear.
Yep.
I get to do a prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to I will do the final prompt. Yeah.
Yeah, you may. I'll allow
And
it.
I rolled
thank goodness.
a natty. I rolled a natty 20.
Ooh.
Which is how is technology manifested in the daily lives of everyday people? How is magic manifested for the same? We've talked a lot about magic.
Milo.
I would really like to talk about where we're at tech level wise, because we have gotten that all over the place.
I mean, short answer is everywhere that isn't Tarsig is sword and sorcery, medieval, whatever, and then Tarsig is like in the Industrial Revolution. That's like the short and dirty answer.
You are leaving out Milo and Lotharius' island. Because Milo's thing is industry.
Right, and we can also look at like this. We can also look at the southern coast, which have basically hit the age of sail.
Sail.
That was a violation. How did you do it?
1 demerit.
-2. Well, and also one of the big differentiators from the Empire, it probably is less of a big deal now, but like they were the first people to get steel, and then they made it even worse in Dead Steel, which is steel that zombifies you basically. Like necrosis has like necrotic energy.
The Undying Empire is advanced in very specific areas.
Yes.
Namely bureaucracy.
And the rest
Bureaucracy and subjugation.
The rest has slowly been like spreading knowledge through the bridge's travels.
Thing with those, even in real life, just because the technology's been invented doesn't mean it's widespread.
Right.
Like we have records of guns kind of existing in like 1000, and they weren't like commonplace till like 18 something or whatever.
They suck.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
a long time. Yeah.
just for the record, like we've had a few places have some cool things. Also, a reminder that magic has been like skipping some steps of the scientific process.
Well, that's always the thing that you got to keep in mind in like a fantasy setting, is that it's like, okay, is how much easier is it to figure out a magic solution than it is to figure out a tech solution? So you might have like a printing press or whatever, which is actually something that is exactly the kind of thing that you're talking about, Lex. There's stuff that like block printing from like way in like I believe it's like Chinese antiquity, but we don't like credit the actual like printing press coming into existence until like what, like the late 1800s,
1500s.
It's I mean like
Gutenberg was 1500s, I think.
An interesting fact about the relationship between technology and magic is Tarsig is going through an industrial revolution in order to produce what? Magical trinkets.
Yes.
So even like their industry is magic focused.
Our technology is entirely rooted in magic.
Yeah.
Once you get past like bows and arrows and swords and stuff.
Yeah, I think basically what in the history books we'll call this like the arcane revolution or something, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also
the midst of it.
With Tarsig being so focused on the industrial production of magical items, that led to the Boiler and Witches, which is like industrial magic.
Yeah.
They can like bend and manipulate steel. They can like control grime on things. They have like these very specific, intense powers, but it was because of their exposure to that very industrialized magic. I like
So
the
like my
blue
question then
thing.
is like why is there technology? Like what is the technology and why is it there? If magic is not only so present
Mhm.
that like it's being used for everything um but um but like is constantly undergoing all of this innovation and like whatever, you'd be so desperate or it would be so desperate to try and keep up with that technologically, so people either have to be actively pursuing that or it's fallen by the wayside. um and that's really interesting when you have a sort of situation where like you effectively have technology that is like equivalent to ancient civilizations in a world where you are basically bordering on like arcana punk, it seems.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well,
And like
I'll
those
throw this.
At the very least,
Yeah,
Tarsig is Arcana Punk hardcore.
I'll throw that one
Very
out.
much
Is
so.
is that a lot of the really high magic stuff is located way off on the west coast of the continent across half of a continent of desert in Tarsig. And the
Yeah.
rest of and the rest of the continent is much lower
Mid
magic.
magic?
Um
Yeah.
it's well, so in the Imperial core, you're talking mid magic. Outside of the Imperial core, it's actually way closer to sword and sorcery because most of the magic that we've encountered outside of the Empire is really limited and extremely dangerous.
so then how
Yeah.
is technology manifested in the daily lives of those people then?
So
Yeah.
in my mind, magic is very like specialized and localized, right?
That is
Like
common. Yeah.
each society has figured out like where magic fits for them because again,
Yeah, it turns into like
Speed
like this community is very agriculturally based. And so it's like, all right, we're gonna get farming magic. We don't care about anything else. We're developing how to grow corn. That's it. We don't have the time for anything else. Those guys over there, they have magic to grow beans. They don't have time for anything else. And the Tartan's like, we have magic to make batteries, and we're just going crazy over here.
Yes, kind of something that I've been picturing is on a base level, magic is something that's like pretty widespread. It just kind of like it's everywhere. But getting into the powerful magic and being able to do like specific things, like you have to like study and dig into and find that well to tap into to make those big changes. Otherwise, the magic is just like very, very small. So it's something that just kind of is, you don't have a lot of control over it,
So
or you
what's
have to
stopping
work very
people from
hard to
doing
get
that?
specific.
I think this just I think it's like way far east. Magic is like militarized. In the far west, it's like industrialized, and like the closer you get to the center, it's more like used like, almost artistic expression in the center because it's more personalized in the center. In most
It's also
cases.
going to be heavily related to divinity. A lot of magic outside of the Imperial core and outside of Tarsig is going to be related to the gods. Has been kind of a common thread.
Yeah, it's the Empire is usually we're using magic to kill guys better, which is
Uh,
usually why I think they win.
To answer the
They're
question
doing
as to
range
why
competitive
people,
magic.
yeah, they've actually they've got the tier lists that they build for what sort of like deck you want to run. Crazy, very
Yeah,
very
it's
precise.
like the Empire. It's
They have
like
tier
we
lists
make
by matchup.
like Empire's like we use like alchemy to make fucked up monsters. We use necromancy to make zombies, and we also use necromancy to kill you. And like that's their deal.
Yeah,
And most
to-
places
Yeah.
don't specialize that much. It's
Uh,
and I think that's why like technology has advanced more because people aren't specializing in like one field that hard anywhere.
Well, and a lot
Does
of
that make
people
sense?
don't have access to enough
Mhm.
training to use magic in ways that would be most helpful to them. So they have to still like
Mhm.
continue to develop basic mechanical technologies for things that take up a lot of their life, like weaving and building and planting.
Right. Because I think we've established that like magic isn't something you're born with. Like anyone can learn magic as far as I think so far.
mhm.
I don't think we've had any limits on it yet, right?
No, I
The
don't think so.
main limiting factor is something that was established very early, that if you draw too deeply of
Yes.
magic, it changes you, it alters you physically.
Right.
So
But I mean, like,
Another
anyone
factor-
can
Yeah,
do that.
there's
It's
Yeah.
just, it turns into, okay, do I spend the next 6 years learning to cast grow corn, or do I go like buy a tractor? Like, you know?
Or
Yeah,
and it's
I
also
think-
But
Or do I
I-
invent a tractor? Because
Yes,
that's the
yes.
thing.
Zad
Is
has
that
been
it's like,
trying
that's
to-
what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
yeah, Zad's been trying to say
So,
something.
Ben, what's the answer to the question?
Sorry.
uh,
I just want to know.
the I mean we're kind of answering it pretty well, but the factor that digging too deep is very dangerous and alters you permanently in one way or another. That's also really easy to do if you don't know what you're doing. And we have
Mhm.
established several characters that have done that, like just pure, like, oh, this guy dabbled in earth magic and now his bones are made of stone, and that's like,
Yeah.
that's just dabbling. So it's like there is a tremendous amount of fear around magic for those who are not good practitioners, and if you don't have time to like go off and study or go out and like really sit and learn because you're busy with like a whole bunch of other things, you're going to stick to the folk magic that you do trust, or you're going to put it in the hands of the divine, and you're going to ask the
Yeah.
gods for help.
It's
And
kind of like
the-
these methods of mediation are the ways in which, and technology to a certain extent, are the methods by which people keep themselves safe from being altered by magic. If you were to go out and cast grow corn every single day, eventually turn into a corn cob while saying I'm not owned.
I'm not owned. I'm not owned.
However, if somebody has taken the processes by which you would cast grow corn and put it into the grow corn box, and you go out and you shake the grow corn box, the corn's going to grow, you're going to be fine, and the main consequence is arcane runoff that creates Plague Town. But so that's kind of like it is
Shouts out to Plague
dangerous.
Town. That's kind of fun.
party
That's also
city.
in Tarpsig. That's also
I
in
love
It
Tarpsig.
sounds like a nightmare place. I don't think we
Yes.
should go there.
I
Thing is
love
literally-
Sounds
Tarpsig.
bad.
Is a bunch of oil derricks in a caldera that do nothing but produce magical objects with horrible amounts of like industrial waste.
But there's of course
What
some
is
really
the
cool
point of that
neighborhoods with
place?
really neat people who have parties all the time.
Look, Plague
Like
Town
Plague
is
Town.
also Party Town. It's
I
great.
do love
but-
bread and circuses, so you know.
I do like the idea, especially for me. Like I think technology is able to spread a bit easier than magic. But I mean, one of the things that I really like about our kind of magic system is like the solution for like if everyone was just able to mind meld, all problems would basically be solved in this world. Because like everyone across the vastness of the weave, most people have figured out a way to magically do basically everything. But it's the thing of like you don't know how to do that thing magically safely,
Yeah, it's
right?
yeah,
and
it's-
so like it's specialized magic locally of like no, we've had like generations of hey, we've figured out how to like do this, integrate this magic into our daily lives, and so we know how to do this. Like everyone can just do that, and that's not a
yeah.
big deal.
Also, it's the idea of like if in real life, if you gain a skill, that skill's usually transferable to something else. Magic isn't transferable to other skills so far. It's like, hi, I'm an electrician. Okay, do you want to? If you don't want to be an electrician anymore, that blows. That's all you got, dude. You got nothing else.
Mhm.
And because of that, it's like, okay, we figured out how to do electrician safely. We're good now. We're done. Or it's like, but one thing we've seen in a lot of the Shady Hills corridor is people are willing to go, I'm just gonna do my own thing, see what happens. I'm just gonna like fuck it. I'm this guy. I don't care. Like I'm just gonna do it. Because
Yeah,
like
but
like I
and-
was saying, that's why I mentioned the artistic thing. It's like a self-expression of like, what is your magic? What do you focus on? I picked like bee magic. I like bees. Why?
Yeah,
I
but
just-
Thought you meant like the letter
there's also
B.
a lot of
You already said why. You like bees.
a lot of the times
Yeah,
when we
but-
see characters who have been using a lot of magic or leaning a lot more on magic, it's usually because like it's something that's been passed down in their family. Like the Ramses family does a lot with not be magic, deal magic. Damn, Lex can be saying be magic, but yeah, they do deal magic, and then Ursula Vance has the shadow magic, even though you were cursed by the sun god because he thought it would be funny. But like a lot of us, like if there's like that tradition in place, and it's probably also something that we see a lot in the witch covens as well. The traditions in place are like people have figured out how to do it because it's maybe like they've essentially like set the rules for that particular flow of magic almost, and it might not work for everyone everywhere, but it's a little easier to like teach
Mhm.
and to share
Yeah.
and like have people be able to like copy and learn from. And there might be some things where you can kind of translate like deal magic to true name magic or something like that, but there's a lot of risk. So some technology probably evolved just to help try and absorb some of that risk, so you can experiment with so you can try something new without eviscerating your entire village.
But like it was like this, like they still had to do some kind of magic to reach the tech that lets them try the other thing. What my best guess is
Yes.
someone figured out how to make batteries effectively. Like that's my best guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I learned how to put things in a bottle. That's my deal.
The Ramses family is actually a really interesting example because you could probably trace their mastery of deals magic all the way back to someone who like first kind of cracked it and then passed it like person to person to person, like painstakingly trained them like in a master apprentice environment. And there isn't an open way of doing that, at least not in Shalmare. Maybe there's a place where there are magic apprenticeships where you can actually study it. Or the
There
Ramses
is a
family
magic
brought
school
people
in
in now
Shalmare.
and again.
We established.
There is a magic school
Yeah,
in Shalmare. That's true, right?
We didn't do as we
I
didn't
think-
we didn't look at it as much as I wish, but it is there.
Yeah, it is there, and I think possibly with the Ramses family specifically, part of why they're so good at what they do is all of the deals that have been put in place by previous generations. Like that's just kind of like built up like this ecosystem of like deals and magical legalese that they are able to
Yeah.
keep using and building
made
on
themselves,
because
like-
it's reliable.
They made themselves like a safety net out of deals made throughout throughout centuries.
Well,
Yeah.
and even
Yes.
to wrap it back into a sort of magical technology, you've got people who are doing sort of the underlying deals magic, but then you start building up with like enough practitioners creating the fundamental templates and documents by like you can create bureaucracy that functions in the same way that like a trinket does, and it basically is able to say, hey, if you go through these exact steps, it creates a magically efficacious deal that you don't have to actually engage with the underlying magic, but the magic still works. And you don't have to hire God, and you don't have to take on
We have a
risk.
canon example of that.
Yeah?
There is an extant canon example of that, and that is the Ramses family safe house. If you have a spoken or written invitation to the safe house, you can access the safe house by thinking about it. You do not need to be party to that contract. They just need to be like, you're invited here, and then you can go there.
Yes.
And also that's worth noting. That sounds like that is where most technology will end up, but I don't think we're there for most magic.
Right.
Like the ultimate goal will be all magic is like, okay, we figured out how to make this shit like a cantrip.
Yeah.
You don't have
Well,
to
I
die.
guess in the case of that thing, you have generations and generations of
Yeah.
people focusing on the
Mhm.
same thing and passing down knowledge about
Yeah.
one specific thing. And if you have the vast majority of people being like, I'm just kind of fucking kicking it. I don't have like a noble house.
Yeah.
I maybe tell my grandkids this crazy thing that I got up to when I was their age, and maybe they do something with that, maybe they don't, but that's kind of it. And they're just like, all right, grandpa, let's it's time for your nap.
How do you think they
Yeah.
became a noble house? There's also the fact that that invitation to be able to access the safe house can be rescinded.
Yeah,
They
there's,
have
there's
to,
also
like,
that
one
there-
of them
become
has
the
to
first of
specifically
something
do
than
that.
it is to like, oh, sorry.
Bree.
You're
They
just
Sorry.
have to like intentionally do it, but it can be rescinded. You can be
Yeah.
forbade from entering.
All right. Faye.
All I was saying in regards to like how do you think they became a noble house? It's like, yeah, it's a lot easier to be the first people who did a thing. It's a lot harder to then continue doing that. The more that
Yeah.
people have figured that out, the less people can do it.
Yeah. Like
So
Mhm.
I really like something that was said early on, which is we are like historians will look back on these centuries, like starting with the revolution and then onward as the Arcano Revolution. And then historians further on, centuries on, will also say, oh yes, this is also where the arcane industrial complex began. These were the first vestiges of the proto Arcano industrial state, and we need Arcano socialism to destroy Arcano imperialism and like those sorts of
Because-
things. Like it's
because I think another thing is worth noting because effectively because anyone can do magic, it's kind of like you live in a world where everyone's born with a gun in their hands, you know?
Shouts
Everyone's-
out, welcome to life, kiddo. Here's a fucking Glock.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
and so like for most people it's like, okay, hey,
But you have to
don't touch
you have
that.
to learn how to access the ammunition.
Yeah, it just but so I imagine in a lot of cultures like, okay, just don't fucking touch that. We all got one. Don't touch it. Leave it alone.
We
don't
don't look at that. We don't look at that. Chekhov, don't look at that.
Check-
Leave the
put it down. Put it down.
Put it
And
down.
so
I-
I think we're at the point where everyone's going, wait a minute, I got a gun. Die, oppressors.
Well, that's something that has always been really interesting to me is the idea like you could, if you really wanted to, you could just conjure a castle.
Yeah.
Probably. Like a normal person could probably do that. But they would definitely just become a piece of stone.
They become
Yeah,
part
like-
of the castle. Like
yeah,
That,
you
like
might be
that's
the,
it.
in
the
that
Like,
throne
castle.
would have a face on. It's like, I am the keeper of the castle.
No, they wouldn't talk. They'd just be a piece of stone now. Like there wouldn't be a magical talking stone. They would just be a stone now, right? Like,
Yeah.
like the idea of you can dig as deep as you want. Anybody can dig as
Once.
deep as they want. Once.
Which means
Um,
everyone on Earth is like effectively a WMD, which is oof.
But also, like, I mean, this reminds me of sorry, this is like a little gross to think about sometimes, but like the idea of like the amount of force it actually would take to bite off your own finger is like very small, but nobody could like actually do it because your
Your brain
body
says
and
no.
like brain
could.
is like, don't fucking do that. I think it's very simple, like it's deep instinctual feel like.
And a
don't
lot
do
of
this.
magic is learning. A lot of magic is learning to bite your pinky off, is what you're saying.
Like, I mean, I think that's the most dangerous magic
and so a lot of tech
right?
is, and a lot of
It's
technology.
learning how to play chicken with your brain, being like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. And
kinda.
it's like, don't. It's like, I'm
And
gonna.
which also
Yeah.
means like all the tech from Tarsig is like the pinky cut off 9000.
And,
Like
and
people are
it's-
risk averse.
Yeah.
Invented pinky too. The singular pinky.
Here's my question though: is learning magic the equivalent of biting your own finger off, or is it closer to like safely learning magic? Like, how much pressure can you apply without actually biting off your own
Yeah.
finger?
I
Yeah,
think
and
I
then a
think
lot of-
safely
Yeah,
I think
sorry, go ahead.
safely learning magic is more like studying like philosophy and meditation and like inner calm and peace and imagination and creativity. Like if you can cultivate a very, very firm and secure and clear inner world to structure your magical activity, then you can manifest someone else's pinky falling off without risking your own pinky.
I was imagining the what was that Greek thing, like the platonic ideal of an object or whatever.
Yes.
Like,
I think it is kind of like if you have such clarity of thought. No, I literally you're in the same boat as I am.
mhm.
If you have such clarity of thought that you can imagine the platonic ideal of a castle down to the last detail, you can safely create a castle without endangering yourself. But
Mhm.
no one can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're
And
always
what-
gonna fuck it
Skill
up.
issue.
And also, I
And
was
you have to,
imagining like
be able to remove-
I was just gonna say, fucking challenge accepted.
Not me. I'm built different.
I think it's
also-
Like a
also
castle, even some could say.
I'm
It's
also
a really
now
small
imagining
castle.
a hyper realistic 3D model of my own pinky rotating slowly in my mind. I just want you to know that.
I think as well.
Listeners, are you
though,
able to rotate objects in your mind?
I also like the idea of there's that half of learning magic of like refining your visualization and like mental like fortitude almost, and then it's also like having as good an understanding and being as close to whatever source of power you're drawing from of like, oh, I understand earth and rock and stone on a deep fundamental level, so I can understand the best ways of like it's not just about like how much force I'm applying, it's where I'm applying the force. Best usage of like my energy and focus and
Yeah.
attention.
I just had like an
I kind of
eldritch thought.
Thing-
All right,
Go ahead, Lex.
Breeze added me.
I'll say, I use something like that in the superhero series that I wrote, including like I specifically have one character who she's able to, when she touches something, she can change it, but being able to like combine things, she has to learn a lot about like chemistry and like the physical like makeup of things to be able to like grab a stick and a rock and merge it together to make a hammer and not just have a weird like rock stick bat thing.
I really like. I'm kind of tying it back to what Rob had said, but I like the idea of having a fundamental understanding of something makes it so that you can interact with it better magically, which we already have established in canon ties really nicely in with the Boiler Room Witches. They have such an innate understanding of how industrial things work that they can interact with them magically very safely because that's just part of them. That's just like part of their everyday life.
And I think that
Also,
does flow
my
into
brain-
the way
Keep going,
does
Zach.
flow into the way that the power-born gods are a thing, and so that puts that magic in conversation with that. And then I think kind of a missing. So Ben, to respond specifically to your thing of like, yeah, you can when you learn and you create that artistic expression, you can very safely interact with these fundamental forces. I feel like that is a really good model. I feel like leaving that as the only really good model is kind of leaving expression on the table, because there's also just something to really fucking wanting something. And when you're working from that analytical framework, you are removing that capacity from desire from the human experience at a certain point. Yes, you can imagine a perfect castle and you can just like plop that down. But I think the thing that catches you, the thing that like turns you into the castle itself, is when, as that like platonic ideal of castleness is flowing through you, it catches on you and you get caught along with it because you've not
Right.
fully separated your ego from the object that you're trying to create.
Yeah.
So like think about the difference between a D&D wizard and a D&D sorcerer. D&D wizards learn processes, they learn spells, they learn discrete functions of magic, they learn technology, whereas sorcerers just like really fucking want something and bring it into the world. If you put those two kinds of magic on a much looser continuum between the two, and to be like the full magic traditions are playing with this fundamental desire and practice of evoking the world as you want to see it, these analytical practitioners are working with processes and technologies that we know works, and all of this is in conversation with itself and kind of going back and forth, where once you know how to deal with the raw material of the universe in that like sorceress way, understanding the technologies, like it gives you this better ability to grasp it, to monkey with the technologies of magic. And by the same token, if you know these processes and functions and what like this end result, the safe thing can be, you can start digging down layer by layer and create something that's even more powerful by recombining those processes while also engaging with the underlying forces.
I really like that as like a way in. It also creates the same hooks. If you really want something and you yearn deeply for something and you try to manifest it through magic, but once again too much of yourself is in that want, the magic will also hook you, and it's that exact same danger. It'll bring something along of you.
What I was gonna say, that actually covered some of what I was gonna say. Where effectively it's when you look into the castle looks into you.
Kinda.
As you understand the castle understands you and invites you to become a castle.
Mhm.
No, but
I mean-
actually, I want to write that down.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah, I fucks with that. That's great. No, that's awesome.
And the thing I realized was if that is how magic works, that means effectively the technology cycle is someone invents something once and then it goes, okay, magic can do it now because someone's seen it, it's real. Now fuck that invention, everyone figure out how to do it yourself. Like that might be what technology turns into a lot. It's like, oh, you invented a car? Sick. We're gonna learn how to summon cars now. Fuck you.
I mean,
I
yeah,
think that there's an
kinda.
interplay with there. We actually established once again. I'm loving anytime something gets established that we've already sort of like touched on in canon. What were they called? The memory kinesis. What was the name for them?
Gnostikinesis.
Gnostikinesis.
Yeah,
The
that.
people. Yes. Oh, Faye just made a face like, what the fuck did you just say?
All of you just like woke up like fucking sleeper agents.
Thank you.
trying to say that. I feel like
so
Gnostic
Gnostia kineticism is the
You
magic
get
of
Gnostia.
is the magic of summoning memories back.
Mm.
So like the best way is maybe think of it like you are in a forest and you summon the memories of lumberjacks who have cut down trees before to help you like do a lot of work, or
That's
like
kinda
you
fun.
summon soldiers who died nearby to help you fight a battle now.
That's kind of
But
fun.
But part of that
Kinda
is that
neat.
you have to have a pretty clear idea of the like. It helps if you
like, what that
can
looks like.
remember. Yeah, if you can remember lumberjacks chopping trees, it's easier for you to manifest lumberjacks chopping trees.
Which means the second
Yeah, you have-
photographs are invented, Gnostokineticists get a huge buff.
Yeah, their power spikes
Honestly,
hard.
balance Nerf Bat Inc.
There's some Gnostikineticist out there who is also a painter, and or has one on staff. That's
Or-
just like cool.
Absolutely.
One of them has an eidetic memory and is fucking boolin.
World's
One of my
greatest
pitches
villain.
was a character who was a Gnostic and also a necromancer, as a hobbyist necromancer. Hung out with a lot of ghosts.
Like that they're just like,
His
I
deal
remember
was-
when this person was alive, and so then they become alive, kind of.
Yeah, by experiencing the memories of ghosts, it increased ability to cast, because you can start doing stuff their way. You've increased the pool
right.
of memories that you bring with you. They're
I
specifically
wanna-
from Overton. They had a cursed brick that they were carrying real
So
long,
it's
but-
like, hey buddy, can you get in the bag? Get in the bag.
I want to clarify something for the listeners. We have had multiple conversations about being really precise with our magical language.
Oh, yeah.
Mancy is specifically divination or knowledge acquisition through that. So necromancer does not create undead. That is a necrokineticist or a necroturge.
Yeah.
A necromancer
Mhm.
learns things from the dead. They're
Gotcha.
different. They're different
I
things.
understand.
I'm sorry I cursed you
Legally
all with that.
distinct.
I'm sorry I cursed you all with that specific brand of mad at language thing I have. Where every time someone's like, "Oh, necromancy," I'm like, "Well, you're wrong," but like I'll let it go. But you're wrong. you're fucking wrong.
Mhm.
It's
You're wrong with
necrokinesis. Probably.
facts.
Like fuck you. That's fine.
You must understand the thing before you can then do the thing. They go together.
Gotta
still.
know the rules to break the rules. So I shall be
Like
calling it
that.
necromancy, mostly to spite Lex.
We can't have
Hell
we
yeah.
can't
How dare you?
we can't create magic to do a thing we don't yet know how to do.
So
Skill
But-
issue.
anyway, bringing
we
it back
did-
to the actual fucking question.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we do have one.
Go
We
ahead.
do have one character who, because Irene, when she was kidnapped for those 2 years, she just had a book that Lena somehow was able to get to her that talked about how to do magic, and it got to the point where when she was rescued and the person who kidnapped her was gone, she was able to teleport herself and my own back home. Like 2 years worth of journey away.
Unrelated to the podcast. That's why they want to let everyone know I fucking played myself.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, oh yeah, we have someone who specializes in teleporting. Oh, teleporting. What kind of kinesis is that? What's movement in Greek? Would you believe it's
Autokinesis.
kinesis?
I think teleportation
Kinesis,
would be
kinesis.
autokinesis, wouldn't it? Self movement.
Yeah, no, I should have thought about that for more than 5 seconds. I knew that.
So to tie this answer in a bow, because we're kind of at the tail end of this session. It depends. Unfortunately, the relationship between technology and magic throughout the world kind of depends on where you live. It kind of depends on what your interactions are because it is deeply personal and localized. And like the world, some places are leaning a little more on technology, and some places are a little bit leaning more on not technology. Is kind of where we kind of ended up. But there is probably statistically there is a gun somewhere. There's at least one gun.
I've got it.
No, I've got it.
Yeah,
got it.
absolutely.
Oh,
Great.
shit, we found the
I also-
gun.
Take turns with the gun.
I do.
Fucking
I,
damn it,
I
Chekhov.
want it. It's mine now.
The kids with
To
the
also
gun.
I'm
loop back
allowed?
to loop back to the core of the question, I think also talking about the gods, I think that the reason why gods are so much more favored than magic is like gods basically it's not a secret that like gods' gifts are usually also curses or curses are also gifts, right? Like that's not like new knowledge to people, but I think it's basically the idea of like, well, I know the gods will give me something useful. Magic could just fuck me up forever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped something.
Like it's I mean, it's the devil, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's kind of laying down the basis of world building. I think we've established a whole lot of stuff. I think we've gone over a whole lot of history of this world. We'll do more of it as we play. This has been a blast. This has also been a really fun conversation. Thank you, listeners, for coming along with this. This was a complicated one. So maybe you might want to re-listen to it about 8-10 times more just to help the metrics.
Yeah.
And
Listeners,
Thanks, please.
I want to remember 3 things. 3? Let's say it's 3. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
3.
Take your meds. Pee after sex. Fuck ice.
Fuck ice.
And not in
Thank
a
you.
fun
Those
way.
That
are
has-
the 3 commandments.
Also, drink water and eat food today, please.
Yeah, probably.
5
Yeah.
commandments.
The 5
Right.
commandments.
And the 6
Well, 3
commandments.
commandments and 2
actually
reasonable
don't
requests.
know. I actually don't know if the pee after sex thing is real, but I've heard it enough times. I'm just gonna say it as a bit.
No, it's real. Yeah, it's real.
It's definitely
that's
no, that's
really
important.
Even I know that one.
Thanks y'all very much. This has been Game Woven. Subscribe to us on Patreon. That's Commandment 55. Thank you and good night.
You don't put decimal points in your commandments. It's like addendum.
I can do what I want.
Also-
That's commandment number
Real
7.
commitments.
You can put decimal points. Thank you for listening to the Game Woven podcast. Today's episode featured the entire cast, including me, T.T. Benjamin, Lex Olden at Call Me They, Emily, Faye, Rob, Zad, and Bree. For more of Game Woven, you can find us on Blue Sky at Game Woven. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/GameWoven. Thank you.